Let's look at our production module and discuss how we will implement and use this control sheet daily. Before we can instruct and inform the system that we created a recipe, ensure that you have created the recipe in the production setup first. As part of our daily controls, in the morning, when starting off kitchen preparations, managers should inform the system of what they plan to produce today. To do this, enter the production module. The production screen now opens. You will be able to view here what recipes are available to produce and their current back and front stock levels. In this example here, we can see that there is no stock currently for this recipe, cheese sauce. Now let's continue to create this recipe. Click on the recipe estimate block and punch in the quantity you would like to create. If you are unsure of the unit yield of the recipe, then punch in the unit estimate block how many units you would like to produce. In this example, we would like to produce 7 liters of cheese sauce. The system will then auto-calculate the recipe quantity for you. Once the estimates have been determined, click on Print. Here you will have a few options to choose from. Firstly, you can choose to print items per single page or print them following one another. You can choose to only print the selected item, printing the production detail for only the selected item, or print all items with all their production details. Choosing to print ingredient summary only will result in printing estimated quantities for all the ingredients needed for production items that is estimates entered. You can also print the item costings or a summary detail for all the production items. When clicking on production detail, you will see the production item and the list of the ingredients with their estimated quantities derived from the recipe or unit estimates entered earlier. Should the recipe not be followed, the kitchen manager should write down the quantity that was used under the quantity issued column. Should you use any stock from the front, this should also be noted on this sheet. The manager can then write down and make notes for final entering later when all production is being completed. As soon as the item has been produced, we recommend writing down the final quantity next to the quantity to produce total, as this may differ from what was estimated. This could be due to spilling the product, general wastage, cooking the recipe too long, or using more or less of the recipe ingredients. Now that we have produced the recipe item, we can now confirm the production details. As part of our daily closing procedures, we recommend entering your final production quantities first before continuing to complete other control sheets, as production can affect your prep, bulk, or other daily control sheets. Select production. In the unit produced block, enter the same quantity as what was estimated, then press enter. The production details screen now opens. Now you need to enter the final quantity produced in this block here under quantity produced. You'll also need to adjust and make changes to the ingredient quantities should this differ from the estimates. Mark if front stock was used by ticking the front stock used box. If you don't tick this box, the system will assume you used back stock. You will notice when we adjust the stock quantities, the costings will also change. Once all information has been inputted, click OK. The system will then prompt you with an information box to show you the changes made to the costings and ask you to update the cost. You can then click on Yes to update to the latest costings. This will update costings linked to this production item in the master file, the raw material, and the PLU costing files. You will follow these steps for all items that you need to produce, and once done, click Print. You can now select item costing and print an item costing report if required. In closing, let's view how this item will affect your daily control sheets. These sheets all have a production column. For instance, when viewing the prep sheet, we can see it has updated the item with the created quantity here. If the item was indicated to carry back stock in the prep sheet setup, we would see the produced quantity increase in the production column to the left. If not, The quantity will reflect in the front stock column to the right. All ingredients used and linked in the production setup will also deduct and reflect in the dry goods and veg sheets. Production items can also affect your bulk sheet. Bulk sheet items that need to be portioned into smaller quantities, but that do not consist of only one other stock item to portion, should be created in production first. For example, if we create burger patties using mince, spices and breadcrumbs rather than just using mince, we will create this recipe in production first, finalize the production, then return to the bulk sheet to go and portion our individual beef patties. Once we have bulked the batch of beef mince into individual beef patties, we can then count them as they should be pushed then onto our prep sheet, and we can track the sales for them through linking them to our burger sales. We can also manage our buffet stock through production. We will look into this into our buffet setup tutorial.